Hi everybody and welcome to the Property AI Report. This is your weekly digest of all things property and AI, brought to you by me, McCallion, and my good friend and co-host Matt Goddard. Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, Mal. Can I just check? Is this you?
Yes, it's me. Yes, I'm not wearing my orange top because I'm currently in Leicester, having done the 39th of my 60 meetings, so we're nearly 2/3 of the way through. It's been great. Really good. Do come join me. It's good. We talk about AI. It's fun. It's like this, but obviously, only half as good because Matt isn't in it. Anyway,
that's it. I will at some stage join you, I'm sure.
I would love that. Really would. Anyway, we have so much to discuss and not very much time to do it because we're both absolutely stacked out. It is Thursday lunchtime on the 12th of Feb. Just a bit of a timestamp because so much has happened this week and so much more is going to happen. We think there could easily be another Google Gemini model dropping any day. Yes, let's get stuck into, first of all, our property news. All right, so let's start with a partnership at this Valentine's weekend, a romance no less, between Rightmove and NatWest, because they have agreed a partnership to sell even more mortgages via Rightmove than they were before, and that's kind of come out as big news this week. And there's some other stuff that Rightmove's been playing around with, but let's start here, Matt. Any particular take on this? As I said, this kind of romance between NatWest and Rightmove?
Has it been going on a while? I love how slick you are, rolling in the fact it's Valentine's weekend and scribbled down
professionalism.
Absolutely,
that's what this is right here.
Need to get a card and a present, but is it a long running?
For me, thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
You should.
It's a 3-year partnership. Obviously, it smacks of revenue and helping Rightmove try and recover from that. What was it? A significant dent that they got back in November. But it's. I wonder if there's other lenders who will be taking umbrage at NatWest being the premium offering on there now. Is it just advertising royalties being spun as a partnership?
Yeah, so I think that you get a mortgage decision in principle, basically through the site, basically just with NatWest, like you say. It has chosen NatWest as the most beautiful of them all. Look, every agent I'm speaking with right now is basically saying, hold on, isn't that our mortgage revenue that they're going to be starting to eat into? But actually, if you look back to November 2023, when Johan Svanström, CEO of Rightmove, did his big investor day and the next 5-year plan, basically one of those bits of 5-year plan was increasing mortgage revenue from 2 million to 25 million by 2028. So he is, I think that half year 25, they're already up to 4 for just a half year, so kind of 8 for annualized. They are well on their way to grabbing even more of the mortgage market as they go by. But yes, like you say, I'm sure for their investors who have had something of a rocky ride over the last 6 months, their share price is down 47% since the peak in August last year. They obviously decided to do a number of things, one of which is grab some more mortgage money, but they're also, I don't know about you, but I'm hearing agents having their fees raised by between 12 and 18% at the moment, so they're going around and grabbing as much of that as possible. Other news from Rightmove, this dropped this very morning, they have discovered AI. And the fact that you can do an AI conversational search with them. There's a few chosen consumers now have access to a button that says Ask AI. You're able to essentially, it's basically just a kind of filter over the top of the search where you could just say, I'd like a sea view and a blah, blah, blah. And it will essentially then just do the normal Rightmove thing and kind of show you some featured properties and all that sort of stuff and then click through and do it that way as well. So, like most incumbents, what they do is they make the new thing a feature of their current site rather than, obviously rebuilding their site around the new technology. Going to be interesting to see who else follows suit. I think we've spoken before that on the market, CoStar is going to drop almost exactly the same thing again as a feature over the top of their on the market site. They were originally going to do it in February. I think it's now moved to March. It's getting quite exciting, isn't it?
Could you tell from that sneak preview if they're doing things such as looking at the images against the listing to pick out that there's a sea view, or are they picking out that it's specifically an attribute that's been set in the CRM or even some of the descriptions?
Yeah, no, it looks like it's just from the description, so it may well have kind of just crawled through the site and found anything that mentions one of those particular things. But yeah, it doesn't. Unlike what we're doing at My Porter, which is where you actually it will go and interrogate all the images and find things like kitchen skylights that may be unmentioned. It doesn't look like it's doing that. But yeah, they say very clearly that this is a beta test, and we're always improving Rightmove for our partners. So yeah, we'll see where they take it in the end. But yeah, it's interesting that yes, that after 3.5 years, they've now finally got round to it, just as we're about to launch, in fact. Anyway, moving on to our second story of the day, we have a first-time buyer boost for January. Reports saying that we've got a whole load of record number of first-time buyers coming into the market in the early part of this year, which sounds like good news for everybody, right?
Well, it's a really strong market, isn't it, at the moment? I just hear positive things, and you're meeting a lot more agents than I am at the moment. So it's great to hear that that's increasing. And was it 1 in 4 first-time buyers took out a 90% plus loan-to-value mortgage, which is the highest proportion since 2008. So really seeing strong signals in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, those with a long memory remember that 2008 was like the start of the global financial crisis. So those were officially the good times back just before that all started to happen. So yeah, no, really encouraging signs. Obviously, interest rate cut back end of last year, beginning of the year. Everybody's got their kind of plans out, and yeah, it started to feel busier. I'm not 100% sure that every agent I speak to is really feeling it. There's a lot of kind of people kind of tire kicking and kind of looking around and all that sort of stuff. So a bit of heat, but not necessarily any light at this particular point. But yeah, obviously the signs are good. And if Connells, who have announced this first-time buyer boost, are seeing it, then obviously we hope that's being seen elsewhere in the country too. All right, we've got a listicle, haven't we? A list of top 10 PropTech, it's very difficult to say fast, top 10 PropTech tools of 2026 revealed by Alto. Matt, what are they?
So this, just as a recap on this, so Alto have really focused down in the partnerships, haven't they? And we've definitely covered it on this a few times, where the approach commercially was really prohibitive to people to be a partner. And there's been a change of mindset. I think it was part of the restructuring and the new board coming in. They've realised that they don't want to just be financially penalising partners for working with them, and they've been much more welcoming. Started off with Nick Shaw coming in as the Chief Revenue Officer, and got people like Stu Pick, who's come in from outside of industry as well. And they've really gone ho, for want of a better word, with partnerships, announcing them. And this is like a consolidation of, I guess, what you'd call the top 10 strategic partnerships, each one falling into an element of a CRM workflow. So it goes from GetAgent Exchange, your old mob, with Colby and the gang there. On the referrals front, you've got Good Lords in terms of tenancy progression side, Inventory Base on the inspections and inventory, as the name gives away. Bridge AI doing Bridging AI, and Smart Search in there. So all the rogues gallery. Speaking of rogues, Property Box, obviously Ben Quiney and the gang over there comes in on the property marketing front. So a really strong sort of, the industry, the 10 who are likely to be in at the front, or at least battling and jostling for position in each of those work streams. But it just shows that Alto are back, and they're branding it their Alto Marketplace. And so really making that point that they've gone out there and pushed this channel partners piece really strongly.
Yeah, amazing. I, as you said right at the start, we've mentioned before, I am really totally impressed with the turnaround at Alto and how friendly they are and how welcoming. So yeah, we've got a feed set up with them like really quickly, as opposed to, for example, Reapit. And it's
I think you were a free session on that.
Still not coming through, mate. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
We need to have a word with your man.
Oh, right. Okay, we'll do that. It's been great. It's been really, really good. And yeah, look, it's good to see, as you say, some of the stalwarts of the industry on this list and helping agents to max out all their opportunities via whatever it is, GetAgent or Good Lord or whatever. So really, really interesting list there. So third story in our property news. We've got something about a Down Under, Matt. You wanted to have a little chat about REA.
Yeah, it's just a continuation actually from the point you made about the Rightmove videos that came through this morning. So we touched on this again maybe 3 months ago, that they have their buyer app and they were adding AI features in there. It was going to be, I think, September, October, some really exciting, for them it would have been spring, I guess, features they were adding into their app for people, and they're now back this morning or last night touting their personalised property searches with ChatGPT to do my Boris Johnson impression, and that's sort of similar to what you were saying before with Rightmove, sort of badging up almost a wrapper around the large language models and doing the can we call it the bare minimum? I think we probably can, but it's not just Rightmove that are sort of obviously trying to work out how to embed AI into their existing vast platform, but REA are going down, realestate.com.au going down a very similar sort of approach and touting the wares with ChatGPT from the Chief Product and Audience Officer over there, and seeing that they're getting it all across the newspapers there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and again, as you say, it's another example of the incumbents just kind of strapping it on over the top, and yes, hoping that's going to work, and we will see whether it does or not. All right, that is our property news for this week. We have one heck of a lineup of AI and tech news to come. So let's start, shall we, with some of the launches, the big models. Claude Opus 4.6. Now, if you got bored of me talking about how good Google Gemini 3 was, oh my days, you are going to get so tired of hearing about how good Claude Opus 4.6 is. It's amazing, and it's kind of a lot of people are talking about it as being almost that kind of level of what they call AGI, so artificial general intelligence, which is where it becomes as good as many humans at doing tasks. I've found it to be phenomenal. Matt, have you been playing around with this?
I have. So I've got Claude set up now, mainly off the back of, I think, a lot of people over Christmas experimented with. I say a lot of people like me experimented with. I've got more into Claude Code and into sort of Codex and working closer with those tools. And Claude has definitely become my go-to within the IDE for coding. And I'm not lucky enough to have Claude co-work like you, because it was, up until this week, only available on the Mac. Although they've now released their Windows version, so that is stealing from one of the other stories further along. What really amazed me is Claude Opus 4.6, absolutely smashing it, hitting all of the benchmarks. But actually, 5.3 Codex, which was dropped 15 minutes later, from a code point of view, is outperforming it. But
is it? And that's the ChatGPT OpenAI version.
Correct. So it's actually not. With their latest version, ChatGPT 5.3, it's not actually been released within ChatGPT yet. It's only available within the Codex platform, and they've released a Codex app again for Mac, not yet for Windows. And there's I think it was nearly 1 million downloads last week. So this is something where you can prompt, give it the details, and have it building you your own software within 5 minutes. That's Codex. Opus 4.6, we've touched on swarms before, haven't we, and teams, and Mabel's going mental.
You get your text right. Right now.
It feels like it, doesn't it? But they've got these Society of Agents Opus 4.6, where it immediately is coming into play and actually getting sub-agents running off, whereas in the past you had to sort of govern those yourselves. Now you're asking the questions, and Opus is doing that for you without even needing to consider it, right? And then, is that sort of benefit you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's insane. So like you, I am. I was going to say, like you, I am really sad, and I spent like most of Sunday messing about with it and with Claude co-work, and seeing if I could get it to spin up a new website for Model Prop, basically because our one's way tired. And it did. It's got an amazing one. So we haven't put it live yet, but we will do. But yeah, it took like literally sort of like 3 hours to just kind of come through, me back and forthing with it, and it's just come through with just a brand new site build, which is just insane. So yeah, I think it's absolutely incredible and well worth everybody going and having a little play around with if you can. But yes, now it is also on Windows, yeah. So go and have a little play around with Codework as well, because it is so good. And actually, really interestingly, to your point about kind of GPT 5.3 Codex, they dropped that. So Claude Opus 4.6 came out, I don't know, one Wednesday morning, and then literally about 18 minutes later, Sam Altman and ChatGPT dropped 5.3 Codex, which beat it on coding. But as you say, they haven't dropped 5.3 on ChatGPT yet, so the actual the base model. So I wonder if they're waiting for Google. They're just basically staring at the screen going, when's Google going to drop the next Gemini? And then they're going to land 5.3 on top of that 18 minutes later.
I wonder if the back phone went off and they're like, oh, we have to do something. Get that one off the rank. Go, get it out there.
Hit the button, go on.
Yeah, and then they've got various
Great
other ones sat there. Because they also dropped the research this week, didn't they, in 5.2, which is absolutely blowing people away. So it's like they've got things queued, and are they just waiting to trade blows like they did over the Super Bowl adverts? And just you take a jab at me, I'll take a jab at you.
Yeah, and actually, let's move on to that story. So, we touched last week on the fact that Claude's Anthropic, the makers of Claude, have been mocking ChatGPT in its ads and ones that showed at the Super Bowl on Sunday night this week. Basically for introducing ads into the ChatGPT experience. So if you're on a free version of ChatGPT, you will start to see ads alongside apparently your chat, not within the chat, because that would compromise the integrity of the answers that you are getting. But Claude has decided that doesn't really matter. They could still take some big swings at them. If you do have a look at model prop. .ai/insights. I've got a story on it, and you can see all the adverts in there as well. Really, really funny. But Sam Altman, who is the chief exec of OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, has gone mental. He's like really, really, really got cross and sent this long diatribe. I think it was on Instagram back, just basically saying it's dishonest and awful. And what is it? Claude has only got as many users as we've got in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Claude has as many users in America as we've got in Texas.
It's like easy, because what you should do as the market leader is just let it slide by. But now it looks like you're really, really worried about this, the company that's only got as many as you've got in Texas. So yeah, I thought that his clapback was rather misjudged.
It wasn't just him either, was it? Like his was it CTO came back, and his chairman was like this whole host of the OpenAI. As you say, it should just be water for ducks back for the market leaders. It's a company that's going to get bailed out by the government if and when they fail. It's let it slide, boys. Which I know we've got it in the video of the week, so it's a little bit of a loaded question. But which one was your favourite of the Claude?
So there were four of them. Very quickly, one of them was about a guy who wanted a six-pack, which was funny. So I think that was the funniest one. Then there was one where a lady was setting up a new business. Then there was one about a student in a classroom. But the one that really freaked me out was the fourth one, which was basically somebody asking it for advice about how he should speak to his mum. So it's being all very kind of therapist, and then suddenly just starts talking about this cougar website where you could go and meet like hot older ladies if the relationship with your mum is terminal. It's like, mate, it was just really close to the knuckle.
I think the worrying thing for me, because obviously Super Bowl is a big thing. Everyone like keeps an eye out almost for the adverts and doesn't go make a cup of tea like we do during Coro. That's like it's a big standout thing. And actually the ads in ChatGPT haven't properly launched yet. So how many of like middle America are going to know this is coming? And suddenly the fact that these Claude has probably hurt itself as much as anyone else in terms of the AI. Like if anyone had doubts about AI's benefit, suddenly these ads coming out from an AI company saying how bad it's going to be for them is just going to impact their sector more than probably each other, especially given ChatGPT didn't do its own ad. It advertised Codex during the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, like you say, it's almost kind of poisoning the well. So everybody drinking from it is going to get damaged. So yeah, I think when you, as a challenger, you kind of swing when you can, right? So I think, are they trying to differentiate their brand as being the one that is never going to have any ads? That's probably a start point. But even Dario Amodei, who's the chief exec of Anthropic, that makes Claude, he's on record as actually kind of leaving the door slightly ajar to the fact that they may have ads at some stage, but not in the chat and blah blah blah. So I think, like you, it's kind of just made everybody take a little step back or shuffle back and just kind of wait to see what transpires. But yes, if you are on the paid version of ChatGPT, £20 or the more expensive one, then you will not see ads. But yes, if you're on the free one, you will see ads, and they are pitching that as it is allowing access to all of this compute for free. And all you need to do is just sink your eyeballs onto some dodgy old ads for the privilege. So that's one of our stories about OpenAI this week, or two of. Another one is about something we are probably way too obsessed about, is the Johnny Ive designed device that is going to be the iPhone for AI. It's been delayed again, hasn't it? Sad face.
Yes, I know, 2027 now. But although I feel
old.
like when they originally announced all of this in what must have been May last year, and they were saying late 2026, that felt like a long time ago. And actually, 2027, is it the start of 2027, end of 27? Who knows? And
Exactly.
actually, what's going to ship in the meantime, right? With everyone else starting to gear up, and your Amazon B and the other sort of players coming in. Claude seems to be making great strides. Is it going to be as significant as they sort of are hoping for, or is it more a case they're waiting for their models to catch up with what they're trying to aspire to?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, obviously, whatever it is isn't working. So they're sitting there around the workbench, stroking their chins and scratching their heads and going, okay, we're probably going to need a few more months on this. So, yeah, no, it's a shame. But as you say, the competition is heating up. I think Meta's glasses, Ray-Bans, they were advertised at the Super Bowl again, and that's really starting to fly. So yeah, the longer they leave it, the less chance they have of basically owning it, I suppose. All right, so that's probably our OpenAI news for today. Let's take a quick digression into Elon Musk's XAI. So big news. There's a couple of big news. One of which we touched on last week, which is the folding in of XAI, which is the AI part of his business, into SpaceX. With a view to floating at some stage later this week. I think there's a specific date, like it's either his birthday or there's some kind of aligning of the stars or something that he's going to be IPOing on that date, right? Something like that.
I just know that the view is that he's basically done this, so he becomes the first AI business to IPO effectively, isn't it? Because he rolls it in SpaceX since the first one publicly available. I'm sure there is a bit of a madness in terms of the date he's chosen as well. Maybe it's just going to be Valentine's Day, and that's the way he's rolled it in.
Maybe. But aside from that, and yes, the kind of huge benefit that he gets of rolling them in together is SpaceX have got absolutely tons of cash. So if you're looking at the problems that ChatGPT has got, and to an extent Claude has got as well, is they don't have a big money generator that Google's got with Gemini, his ad business, and that Meta's got with Facebook and Instagram and all that. So now Elon Musk has solved that for XAI by bundling it up with SpaceX, which has got many zillions of American taxpayer dollars for satellites and space launches and all that sort of thing. So he's done that. But at the same time, he has lost his second co-founder in a couple of days, right, of XAI. So a guy called Jimmy Barr, BA, he has announced his departure just one day after fellow co-founder Tony Wu announced his own exit. I can't imagine that these are unconnected. The fact that he's bundled XAI into SpaceX, and now two of his co-founders of XAI have done the off, basically.
Well, he's well known for losing sort of senior staff, isn't he? And whether he then comes out and says, actually, I've chosen to move them on or whatever else. But people, I don't think that there's a huge tolerance, the right word. I think people become exhausted from dealing with him, allegedly. But actually, if you scan across X over the last month, there's been about 15, I think it was, senior staff have left XAI. So there's a bit of a brain drain there, but I'm sure he's got other people waiting in the wings, or he's going to do some acqui-hires or something to do it. And you only know that from X because employees are encouraged to post on X, right?
That's right. Yes, they want all the comments they can get. I mean, I imagine obviously if SpaceX has bought XAI, then all of these guys have suddenly got a massive payoff, right? So that they've sold all their shares essentially, or that they've had to receive money for all their shares. So presumably they've now going to go off and build even more AIs. Probably world models, which we will come on to, I'm sure, in the coming weeks and months. But yes, that's the XAI news. Just got time for some stuff about. I was interested in this Harvey. So Harvey is a legal AI. Okay, now one of the things that that was very quickly sort of discovered about AI is that it was really good at, provided you gave it a controlled environment, it can be really, really good at in certain sectors. So, you know, we're in the property sector, but in the legal sector, because knowledge is really hard to come by and you've got to spend ages kind of researching stuff like that. If you've got everything in an AI in the legal world, then actually it can answer questions really, really effectively. So this Harvey business, which apparently had been around for ages just as a kind of support for lawyers, is now valued at $11 billion. Which is $11 billion, just months after it was valued at $8 billion. So it's going through the roof. It's getting so much investment, and they're executing really well, really fast. And I just think it's a really interesting kind of vertical execution of AI in a particular sector, and just to see how valuations can spiral.
It also sits in sharp contrast to the dubbed SaaSpocalypse that's been occurring for the last week, hasn't there? Was it $300 billion evaporated from SaaS heavy markets, so across SaaS data and software heavy investment firms, specifically private equity. So it's a bit unnerving, but then that sort of that value is obviously being reapportioned elsewhere.
It is, and yes, should we just say SaaSpocalypse again, because I really like that word. So SaaS is software as a service. Basically, all your CRM systems, the likes of your Salesforces, HubSpots, and all that saw huge value wiped off in the last week or so when people started to. It coincided with Claude 4.6, wasn't it? I think it was Opus or Co-work that actually triggered the spiral when everyone looked at it and just went, "Oh my days!" That means that, you know, the multiples that these SaaS companies have been able to command over time, they have what people are doing is looking and going, right, actually we thought over the lifetime of this company they would be able to have X multiple of their current revenues, but now they're kind of really downgrading what they think that multiple is going to be, because they're seeing that the customer is just going to look at it and go, well, actually, why don't I just get Claude Co-work to go and find all this information? I don't need a fancy UI, I don't need a fancy user interface, because I'm not going to have any users interfacing. I'm just going to have AI going, finding data, pulling it back, and that, yeah. So I think it's really interesting, and obviously, you know, there's ramifications in the property market as well. You know, actually, how what does that mean for some of the CRM businesses in our space? And I would love to get your kind of
Alto top 10 that we just touched on, and how many of those additional services are going to carry on. I think whilst one specific example, because you touched on legal there with Henry, wasn't it? Harvey Henry. That Claude Opus 4.6 is so strong at financial analysis in terms of crunching data and reading filings that when it launched, was it 10% fell off financial data stocks immediately? Yeah. And that is a very specific area. I think, you know, the idea that we can sit there and vibe code a new website, we could sit there, and I was listening to someone who'd vibe coded in a few hours as a non-techie their own version of Monday.com. And that's great in terms of being able to do that. But it's the ongoing support, maintenance, hosting, cybersecurity. We've already seen with Motebot that we were talking about as I dropped off last week has already had a massive security issue with a release of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of passwords and usernames being breached. There are those risks which big enterprise and anyone concerned about their data is not necessarily going to experiment. But I think where it's really strong is the idea of where in the past we've had silos of data and not been able to integrate these solutions. Take a busy BA who can't really understand APIs and get data in and out of Repit. Now you can get Claude Opus 4.6 to build the integrations for you effectively to help you wire up your stack more effectively.
Yeah, 100%. And yes, I think it's... I do think that this is going to completely change how people work and how they engage with their CRM systems, with their data. So yeah, I'm not surprised that people are finally kind of waking up to the fact that these the multiples, the healthy multiples that these businesses enjoy. It's not they're going to go away anywhere. It's just that actually people are kind of reining down or dialing down the amount they think they're actually going to be able to make over the medium to long term. All right, we've mentioned Claude Opus 4.6 about 1 million times already, but we are now going to move on to our tool of the week. All right, we had 2 in here, didn't we, Matt? Should we start with the GPT 5.3 Codex, because you've been having fun with this and you love it?
Yeah, so I'm using the browser because the Windows version of Codex wasn't available until just recently. Mac was last week, and I think we might have got around to announcing that. This is one where you can take your replets or your Lovables or your base 44s and actually use it fully in the browser to build out a new website as you have, build out your own checklist app. Well worth going and having a look at and just seeing how powerful it is from that point of view. And sometimes people are nervous about how to get started, but open up in the browser, take a screenshot of something that maybe you use already and want to make some changes to, and literally type that in, say it into the microphone and let it run, and you'll be amazed at how quickly results start coming back.
It's so true. And as somebody who has never been a coder, has had that kind of fear of, I just don't know what to do, being able to just essentially just articulate what it is you're trying to get to and just see it come back is insane. And, and often we use this word quite a lot, but democratizing, the use of coding, historically it's been a very niche and very costly kind of type of work. But yeah, now it is something that many more people are going to have access to. So yeah, go play around with Codex 5.3. And also, Matt, there was ByteDance. So this is our second tool of the week. ByteDance has a new AI video model which has gone viral in China and is supposed to be really, really, really good. You've had a little look at this, Matt, right? This
is one that falls right in your wheelhouse, right? So Codex 5.3 is definitely me. Cdance 2.0 is one for you. The model's really strong in terms of not just the videos, but the link up with the sound and the voice. I know you're on the road, so I don't think you've had a chance to play with this, given it only dropped this morning. Well worth if you're putting together ads, little snippets of videos, maybe your Valentine's card that you're going to email over to someone. Have a play with that. It's thank you very much. The speed at which it processes text, images, audio, and video is incredible. When you go alongside your Sora 2.0s and your VO 3.1s.
Excellent. Yeah, looking forward to playing with that over the weekend. So listen, that is it for today. Thank you very much indeed for listening in. Matt, thanks also for being there as ever. Are you doing anything very nice for your Valentine's weekend?
I've got the in-laws travelling down from Scotland, so we've got a house full, which...
so the answer is yes, I'm doing something really fun.
Yes, there you go.
Because they will listen to this. Yes, excellent. So listen, I hope everybody out there has a great Valentine's weekend as well. Don't forget to get your cards. And we will be back next week with even more and property and AI news. So thank you very much indeed for listening in, and we will see you then. All the best. Bye.
Take care, everyone.